Lollipop. Prebiotics, botanicals, and plant fiber. Classic root beer. A new kind of soda. Only 2 grams of sugar. It's cool, these new fancy pops that they're coming out with that are like allegedly healthy, good for your gut and stuff. And they actually taste pretty good. Prebiotics, botanicals, plant fiber. Sounds like something you'd get at that fancy grocery store. What's it called? Erewhon? Something like that. I see people just making skits, reels, joking about how everything costs $3,000 or something. So you can feel special about what you're putting in your body. For this shot here, the peaks, the gun show is looking a monstrosity. But I have to tell you the truth that, well, obviously I'm pumped. And the pump adds about a ½ inch. So the latest measurement, cold flexed, this is a legit way to measure your arms, was 19 and 3/16. So just a hair under 19 and a quarter, 19.25. And that was a few weeks back. Yeah, maybe I'm at 19 and a quarter now, probably at most. Well, who knows? But you're not really going to grow, much more. Like a quarter inch a month is like great freaking progress. So, month to month, you're not going to see substantial increases in the tape measure. Anyways, and this mirror is a vertically stretching mirror. Okay, you can see how elongated my face looks. All right. So what that's doing is it's when you're doing a front double bicep, this pose here, it's stretching the top of the bicep to the bottom of the tricep to make it look bigger. Thing you got to catch there. Some mirrors are stretching horizontally. Some mirrors are just normal. That's kind of what you want. Anytime you record yourself into a mirror with some good lighting, it usually looks better than recording just straight on with the camera facing you directly. There's only so much the mirror can do. But in this case, it's making my shoulders look more narrow, my torso look elongated. But then with the arm up in that position, it's making the tricep, bicep, the upper arm look bigger. But also the forearms, which are vertical, are getting stretched. So the forearms look skinnier than they are. It's not a huge difference. Regardless, this is probably what roughly 20-inch arms look like. With a pump, I haven't measured in a little while, but the last time I did, there was 19.75. So it adds about a ½ inch pumped. And then that mirror is probably giving another quarter inch. So just as a reference point, this would be kind of resemblant. Is that a word? In resemblance of what the arms would look like at about 20 inches, which would be pretty sick. They're looking pretty stacked out, dude. Anyways, the session, what happened today? My shoulder, if you watch the previous video, my right shoulder's been bugging me still, but a little less. So I was able to get a bit of a better bicep work. It's not really bothering me too much for the tris, but the biceps. And I was rolling on the lacrosse ball in my pec there, because I think some pec tension is contributing, just pulling. And I can see it. I was looking in the mirror. I was like, ooh, that right delt, that front delt is kind of pulled forward more than normal, and that's what's putting that tension on my bicep. And the curls don't look horrible in the footage. They felt worse. I'm really trying to pull that shoulder back, and there's a little bit of discomfort in the bicep the whole time. But I was able to execute all my heavy sets and still feel pretty effective. But particularly at the top, it was kind of hurting more. So I was maybe not coming up all the way. And I milked some of these half reps, which I don't normally do on my heavy sets. But, just trying to adapt and find a way to still stimulate some growth. But progress in improving the right shoulder, feeling slightly better, maybe 20 to 30% better in the last session. So we were able to get a little bit of a better work. Hopefully the next session is even better. Triceps seem to be gaining strength. A few videos ago, I mentioned that, we've talked about this ad nauseum, the balance between trying to push heavier weight and then trying to just focus on perfect form. The difference between moving the weight versus moving the muscle, the perfect form. Sorry, I'm a little bubbly. I'm a little like, burpy from the classic root beer. We'll hold off on taking another sip and we get through this video here, and it's not like nauseating to listen to me like puking in my mouth as I'm talking about tricep sets. Exactly what you ordered. Hey, you know what I need? I need some meathead to talk about his tricep sets and try not to puke in his mouth for 10 minutes. That's what I need today. That's the content I need to tune into. Holy shit, dude. Yeah, so the discussion about, it's both, you can't do both perfectly. The more you focus on a slower, controlled tempo where you really feel the stretch, you really feel the squeeze, you feel the muscle working, the lower the weight you have to go. And then the heavier weight you go, the less you're going to be able to really feel the movement. And there's, where do you put that meter, or where do you put where you're going to select to do your sets? Everybody's got a different preference, but I think both things are beneficial. Like if you don't push weight, over time it's probably going to be hard to see tangible growth doing the exact same weight, no matter how perfect you execute it. But then if you just start chucking weight around and you're not really executing, you're not feeling the muscle squeeze and contract, I've found that to also be less effective. So if you go 100% on either one of them, I think you leave something on the table, especially for extended periods of time. So I'm trying to find that sweet spot where I'm still taxing the muscle with heavy weight and trying to increase the load over time, add more reps till the reps get high. Once I get over 15 reps, then I bump that weight up. I'm still trying to do that, but I also want every set, I'm leaning a bit more towards control, stretch and squeeze, just because, my previous kind of deload period, I still saw good results, and I was really emphasizing that sort of coming off of 6 months of trying to chuck heavy weight. Now we're going to do a little deload here. The vitamin T is a little lower. We're going to accept a little loss of strength. And I'm just going to primarily focus on the quality of executing each movement. That is my new metric of success. How good of a stretch and squeeze can I feel? Anyways, with the triceps here, I did a bit of a reset like 3 workouts ago where, I was like, I increased the weight too much. I went all the way up to the 135. Tempo's speeding up. Like, I'm not feeling it. I don't feel the tricep controlling the movement anymore. The weight is moving, but I've gone too far into the chasing weight and reps, trying to move heavy loads and not feeling the muscle working. So I dropped down to the 130, let the reps fall back down some, and make sure each rep I feel a good, stretch. I'm controlling the eccentric a bit more, and then I'm trying to accentuate the top of the movement, and don't just kind of hit the top of the movement and then let the weight start lowering quickly. I'm trying to control that top part. I don't want to fully lock out, but I want to come pretty close. Anyways, the first set I got 12, and then the second and third sets I got 13, which was a couple more reps. And we're kind of back to where I was when I was using a faster form. And I was reflecting, I was like, well, did I just speed up again? And I don't really think so. You can be the judge. But I think the control is right there where I want it. And we're just gaining a little bit of strength. On the biceps, I'm not even really, I don't even know how many reps. 10, 11 reps. What was I at before? I'm not really sure. It's a bit harder to... I feel like it's not my max output when the shoulder's a little weird, and I'm just trying to get the best stimulus I can given the limited circumstances or the limitations, and I don't really know where I'm at. I'm getting 10, 11 reps, and those sets have not been as quality. We've kind of swimming upstream the last couple workouts, so a bit hard to say if I'm gaining strength there as well in the same way that I am with the triceps, because typically if one lift is going up in the tris, you'd think that your biceps, given that I'm doing the exact same training protocol, are probably going to see a similar-ish progression, which is typically what I've seen. I haven't really had any phases where my triceps are gaining tons of strength and size, and I'm doing the exact same training protocol for the bis, but they're not growing. I'm not saying I haven't seen maybe a little bit of a difference in growth rates, but for the most part, they're overlapped. Whereas if I'm not really seeing any growth in the bis, I'm not really seeing any growth in the tris. If I'm not getting stronger in the bis, I'm usually not getting stronger in the tris, and vice versa. But yeah, so that's pretty much it. The brain just shut down. Yeah, that's all we got. I think that was today's session. Pump work felt okay. Shoulder's a little janky. Next workout, hopefully the bicep shoulder action will be back cooking. But silver lining, tricep sets feeling awesome. Good control, seem to be gaining strength. Good execution, feeling the muscle stretch and squeeze with some heavy ass load, which is what we're looking for. All right, that's it. Arm program as always. If you want the enhanced world protocol that I'm running, everything I'm doing in that category, all that on the website with the arm program. Make daily or not like weekly videos, sharing my blood work, sharing the protocol I'm doing, and all the ins and outs of everything else. I've learned to be transparent, try to give you guys a source of knowledge, an anecdote of wow. Oh, sometimes you just have like a violent sneeze, Ooh, feels good. Wow. Clear you right out. Okay, let's end it there. Thanks for watching. Go make some freaking gains. Get some gigantic girth monsters. What else is there to do in life? I don't know. Lots, but it's something. All right. Shut up, Matt. See you later.